A very good afternoon to you, Guyana, and welcome to this program, Matters of Public Importance. I am Bishop Juan Edghill, and I'm standing in for Madam Gail Teixeira, the Parliamentary Opposition's Chief Whip, who's unable to be here with you this afternoon, but she's asked that I extend greetings to all of you, even as I sit in here to deputize for her. This program brings you information and we encourage discussion on very topical issues, or what we might say, matters of public importance. I promise you a very interesting program this afternoon, since I have quite a lot of information to bring to you, the citizens of Guyana, and at the appropriate time, we'll be opening the phone lines to take your calls. But as you would be reminded every week, we are available to engage with you. The lead of the opposition's office is situated at 304 Church Street. That's 304 Church Street. And the numbers that you can get us on is 225-3432. And we operate there Monday through Saturday, Monday to Friday, 9 till 5 in the afternoon, and about till 1 o'clock on Saturdays. So you can make contact with us. We'd also like to remind you that our office is not just available for supporters of the PPPC, but it's open for all Guyanese, because we make representation for all Guyanese. It doesn't matter who you voted for or who you wanted to be president in our last election. Now that we have government and we have an opposition, we serve all the people of Guyana. So we invite you to, if there's an issue, if there's a matter, that you can engage with us. We'd also like to encourage you to tune into Freedom Radio. It's accessible online as well. And do remember to pick up a copy of your Weekend Mirror. It is important that you get the news and the information coming from our perspective and getting the truth to you. The agenda is to let you know the reality of what is taking place in Guyana. So once again, on behalf of Madam Gail Teixeira, who I'm deputizing for this afternoon, I want to welcome you to this program of Matters of Public Importance. Well, this afternoon we have a number of things to discuss. Today is a sitting of Parliament starting at about 2 o'clock, as well as tomorrow. Today is deemed Private Members' Day, or better known as Opposition Day. And it means that on that day, the business of the parliamentary opposition takes precedence over the business of the government. It means the ideas and the issues that we would like to be debated would take precedence over the business that the government has listed. Well, we would have submitted a number of questions and a motion for debate today. Late last night, we got word that the Speaker has disallowed our questions. He has disallowed our questions. Now, one of those questions has to do with the titling of Amerindian lands. The titling of Amerindian lands. Earlier this week, we welcome all of our Amerindian chiefs, Tushaus and captains and senior councillors from across the country. There's some 215 communities scattered across our country where our Amerindian brothers and sisters inhabit, and they make their livelihood there. They're now in Georgetown for their annual conference that brings together all of the Amerindian leaders. the most important subject or the main item on the agenda, and that which dominates the minds of our Amerindian brothers and sisters, is land titling. When we left government, from the low carbon development strategy and funding from the monies we earned from Norway, specific sums of money were set aside for the demarcation, surveys, and titling of Amerindian lands, which would also include extensions. Since this government came to office, that whole project has come to a halt. A question of such a nature is of great importance to our Amerindian brothers and sisters, which comprise about 10% of our population. Today is Opposition Day, Private Members Day, and a question of that nature for the Honorable Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, the 4th Vice President, Sidney Allicock, to answer, the Speaker has disallowed it. The Speaker has disallowed it. It is becoming more and more of great concern of what you can really say in the People's House, or what you can bring to the fore in the People's House. The Parliament is not an individual's house. It's not the government's house. It's not the Speaker's house. It's not the opposition's house. It is the people's house. It means that any parliamentarian, whether you're from government or from opposition, should be allowed to speak in an unfettered manner, ask questions, and expect answers on any matter that is of importance and urgent and concerns the business of the people of Guyana. And here we are today. We're going to the Parliament on Opposition Day, and 3 of our questions, which includes the very important one about Amerindian titling, has been disallowed by the Speaker. However, also today, we expect to be debating the motion that is laid by the Honorable Gillian Burton Prasad, calling on the government for the re-establishment of the Ministry of Labor. You would recall on Labor Day, the joint labor movement, the Guyana Trades Union Congress and the FITOG, the Federation of Independent Trade Unions of Guyana, they made a combined call for the government for the re-establishment of the Ministry of Labor. This afternoon, the Honorable Gillian Burton Prasad will be moving that motion, and there'll be a number of speakers to it, so you may want to tune in and follow what is happening there, calling upon the government for the reinstituting and reintroduction of a specialized ministry to deal with matters of labor. Then we also have a motion for calling for an adjournment of the Assembly to move a motion that is a matter of definite urgent importance, and that will be on the state of hinterland roads. Oh yes, we've been receiving calls from all across Guyana. We have heard the Guyana Manufacturers and Services Association lament the fact that many of their members and members of the business community, they have to close their operations, they have to send home staff because of the deplorable state of the roads in the hinterland. People are unable to get access. You would recall that this government came to power talking about opening up the hinterland and infrastructural development in the hinterland regions, and all of the flurry language that was used pre-2015. Well, now we're in 2018, and everybody would have been able to see the state of the hinterland roads. If there was flooding in Kokwani, and over the weekend, we had a convoy of vehicles that took up supplies and went to visit the people of Kokwani, and the road to Kokwani is bad. You can't get in to Lethem. It's in real trouble. And now that we have all of the tushos and the leaders from all across Guyana, they have been talking to us as well on the state of hinterland roads. You know, it's in real bad shape. And the Honorable Gail Teixeira and Member of Parliament Alistair Charlie should be speaking to that from our side this afternoon on that adjournment motion once the Speaker allows it, because, you know, you could be hopeful about many things, but you never know what the Speaker will allow. Those are some of the things that are on the table before us. There will be another sitting of Parliament tomorrow, and we expect that there will be a debate on the cybercrime bill. So those of you who have been following this issue about the cybercrime bill, you may want to tune in to what is happening and to listen to the debate. And ultimately, of course, you know, the ayes will have it, because 33 versus 32, the power of one. Oftentimes they don't even listen. They don't even listen and acknowledge the weaknesses and seek to strengthen the bills. But I want to now switch my attention to one of the topical issues that is consuming quite a lot of time and energy in the public spaces today. And that has to do with the procurement of drugs by the Ministry of Public Health, and more particularly, the offering of a contract to Mr. Hardat Singh of HDM Labs. Well, I have written twice. Last week, Tuesday, and then you would have seen another letter in today's paper, and I've walked with the Kaieteur News. They are sporting a headline, "Dissatisfied opposition threatens police action." Dissatisfied opposition threatens police action. Yes, in my letter to the editor, I did indicate that we await the minister's statement that she promised to make in the Parliament today. And under active consideration are reports to the Guyana Police Force, the Auditor General's Office, and the Public Procurement Commission. Well, I am slowly losing faith in the Public Procurement Commission, because you're not hearing anything from them. It don't appear that they are doing anything. But I want to take this opportunity this afternoon to discuss this issue and with you, and to bring to you the information that is available, and to get your feedback, and for us to discuss this whole corrupt transaction between the Ministry of Public Health and HDM Labs. I want to begin by offering to you letter number 1. This letter was written on the 16th of June, 2017, to Mr. Hardat Singh, President and CEO of HDM Labs. This letter was written by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Public Health, Ms. Colette Adams. And she wrote to Mr. Singh asking him to supply a quotation for the supply of drugs to the Ministry of Public Health, Regional Health Services. The request for quotation, reference number MMU 08-2017 P4, supply and delivery of emergency pharmaceutical supplies. This gentleman was written on the 16th, and he was supposed to have supplied his quotation to the Permanent Secretary in a tender box, Lot 1, Brigham, Georgetown, on or before Monday, June 19 at 10 a.m. So they wanted drugs in the Ministry of Public Health. The Permanent Secretary wrote Mr. Hardat Singh asking him for his quotation. That's the 16th of June, 2017. He had to submit his quotation in the tender box. by the 19th of June at 10 a.m. in the morning. On the 19th of June, the permanent secretary wrote Mr. Berkeley Wickham, chairman of the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board, for approval of the National Procurement and Tender Administration to allow for the procurement of pharmaceuticals that was omitted from the big pharmaceutical tender of 2017, using the method of sole sourcing for regional health services, Ministry of Health, and the reference number is MMU 08 2017 P4. So on the 16th, Mr. Hardat Prasad was asked to provide a quotation. He did. On the 19th, the Ministry of Public Health, same permanent secretary, is writing to Mr. Wickham for permission to sole source the drugs that Mr. Hardat Singh had quoted for, which is the reference number MMU 08 2017 P4. So it is clear the Ministry of Public Health was going ahead to buy drugs from Mr. Hardat Singh, HDM Labs. Having received a quotation from him, they're now seeking permission from the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board. Now, the total cost of these drugs, according to the permanent secretary, is $366,926,660.80. Now, that is the equivalent of $1,789,886 and 15 cents, and the exchange rate. In her letter to the procurement board, to the tender administration board, the permanent secretary said, HDM Labs has great capacity in delivering supplies to the Ministry of Public Health within 2 weeks' time frame. Well, I've asked that the Ministry of Public Health tell us when did this happen before. HDM Labs is a recognized and efficient supplier countrywide. We have asked that they tell us, and I hope the minister this afternoon in Parliament will tell us, which companies, which institutions HDM Labs supplies pharmaceuticals to countrywide. HDM Labs has their pharmaceutical supplies registered with Food and Drug Administration in the country of Guyana, and they're also registered with Food and Drug Administration located in the United States of America. Well, we don't know this to be true. HDM Labs has their broker to clear consignments. Based on experience, HDM Labs has supplied pharmaceuticals to Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation using all standard operating procedure. We don't know this to be true. Listen to what the minister said, the permanent secretary said why she was writing the tender board. Reasons for sole sourcing. The Ministry of Public Health had restrictive tendering process done, which was opened at the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board on the 23rd of May 2017. An evaluation report was prepared, and none of the bidders were qualified to be awarded a contract. Now, this is quite interesting. The permanent secretary is saying that they went out to bid. None of the companies that submitted bids were qualified or considered capable of fulfilling the requests. So they are going to HDM Labs. Now, on the 20th of June, having written to the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board on the 19th, having received a quotation from Hardat Singh on the 16th of June, on the 20th of June, the Ministry of Public Health wrote HDM Labs to inform them that they have been awarded the contract through the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board, attached a purchase order, and this is the contract for the supply and delivery of emergency pharmaceutical supplies reference number MMU 08 2017 P4, which is the same reference number that they asked Mr. Hardat Singh to quote for. The date of this contract, June 2017. June 2017. So Mr. Hardat Singh was asked to give a quotation. 3 days after, the tender board is asked to give approval for sole sourcing. The next day, the man landed a contract for $366,926,660.80. Now, on the 29th of June, we are receiving a request for restrictive retendering for the procurement of emergency pharmaceutical supplies for regional and clinical services, Ministry of Public Health, MMU 09 2017. The ones we were dealing with was 08, the reference number, 08 2017. This is 09 2017. A separate tender, a separate arrangement. But it's quite confusing. She's saying that the reason why they're retendering is because the previous tender has been annulled. And the name of the companies that they are requesting for restrictive tendering: Answer McCall, International Pharmaceutical Agency, Global Healthcare Supplies, Caribbean Medical Supplies, Meditron Inc., and HDM Labs. So this is a restrictive tendering. Notice, at no time at all did they even invite the New Guyana Pharmaceutical Corporation, or the new GPC Inc., which is the largest supplier of medical supplies in Guyana, to be part of this bidding process. I have in my hands the Ministry of Public Health Materials Management Unit Tender Evaluation Report, Supply and Delivery of Emergency Pharmaceutical Supplies to Regional Health Services, Retender, MMU 09 2017 P4, NP tab number 1633 2017/43. Now, in this evaluation report, we have discovered that the evaluators are, one, the PS of the Ministry of Public Health, the same person who is writing all these letters to and asking for sole sourcing, asking for quotations, and is offering a contract to HDM Labs. She's also the coordinator of the evaluation team, as well as Dr. Shamdio Prasad and Joel Sears. In this document, they say they're going for restrictive tendering. Of course, this restrictive tendering is after this award of the contract in June. This is now July. This is now July. Now, they're telling us in this evaluation report, even though they went by way of restrictive tendering, and the persons who they've invited to bid were Answer McCall, IPA, Global Healthcare, Caribbean Medical Supplies, Meditron, and HDM Labs. Only HDM Labs submitted a bid. The others didn't show no interest. That's what this evaluation report is saying. Now, HDM Labs submitted a bid for $1,891,000 US $443,000.35, which is $101,000 US more than the sole sourced bid. So it can be the same bid we're talking about. But what we have noticed is the same 13 items are being procured. So we want to know if there was a double dip, where one you sole source, and now you're giving by way of a tender. But the one by way of a tender is 100,000 US dollars or 20 million Ghana dollars more for the same 13 items. Now, in this evaluation report, you will discover that HDM Labs did not submit a NIS compliance, neither a GRA compliance. None whatsoever. They did not submit GRA or NIS compliance. The big question is, how could you go ahead to evaluate a bid? And this is part of the evaluation report. Name of firm, HDM Labs. Bid price, $1,891,443.46. Compliance certificates, GRA-NIS-. This man, HDM Labs, who's getting now 380 something million. This has gone from 366 million to 380 something million dollars now. No NIS compliance, no GRA compliance, but he is getting the bid. What is laughable is that the evaluators are telling us only one person put in the bid, which is HDM Labs. But in the report that I'm holding in my hands, July 2017 evaluation report, they have 3 documents or 3 pages of documents that show, number 1, International Pharmaceutical Agency was disqualified from getting the job that was given to HDM Labs. And you know, International Pharmaceutical Agency is owned by a very popular and known individual who's also a financier of the AFC. And I did not say so. At the opening of the AFC headquarters on the train line, he was specially called out by the leader of the AFC now and the chairman of the AFC, and the whole story about how the building came and who paid for it is now in the public space. But this man who could buy and build a building for the AFC headquarters, they said he didn't have financial capacity. Evidence of liquid assets of credit, not less than 25% of the bid price, was not available to them. So a man who financed the AFC ain't got enough money to show that he has capacity. He is in the business of pharmaceuticals, International Pharmaceutical Agency. He disqualified. Caribbean Medical Supplies. Well, they fail on a whole different set of issues. They can't get World Health Organization or U.S. Food and Drug Administration certifications. But what's the biggest surprise is Answer McCall. And you will recall that I sat here on a program, and we've been speaking all over the country in the parliament. We've had questions. We've even had charges filed against the minister for dealing with Answer McCall. But hear what they're saying now about Answer McCall. They're not qualified to supply $366,000 worth of drugs to the Ministry of Public Health because they lack experience and technical capacity. They lack experience and technical capacity. But Answer McCall was sourced, $605 million, twice the amount that Hardad Singh got. But for this 366, they lacked experience and technical capacity. Well, here was the bottom line of the story. This was a deal made for HDM Labs. New GPC wasn't going to get it. IPA wasn't going to get it. Meditron wasn't going to get it. And Simacol wasn't going to get it because this was a deal set for Mr. Hardat Singh of HDM Labs. But we got to remember this is a developing pattern. Remember the $500 million fertilizer contract that this same gentleman, Mr. Hardat Singh, landed shortly after the coalition came into office? This was his payback for whatever he contributed towards the coalition. And you could imagine, and some of Carl get knocked out because they ain't got technical capacity and experience, and they stay quiet. IPA, they say he don't have financial capacity, and he stay quiet. You know why? They all know it's HDM time to get a deal because they already got their own deals. But you know what is the problem? It's not the AFC, APNU money that is being spent. It is taxpayers' money. Your money and my money. And that is why I'm taking time this afternoon to talk to you about this. Because it is the Treasury that is being raided to support and finance persons who are close to this government. This is corruption. In my first letter, I said it would look like there was insider trading, contract fixing, and procurement fraud. The minister hasn't answered yet. I have asked that they produce the letter from the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board to show that the NPTAB give okay for them to sole source these drugs from Hardat Singh and HDM Labs. Show to the whole country that this man got the capacity. Well, we did some research. Mr. Hardat Singh's business, HDM Labs in New York, for the whole year, his total revenue is $799,000. $799,000 is the business he did for the whole year, 2017. But you know, in 2 weeks, he get a contract from the government of Guyana Ministry of Public Health. $1.8 million to be delivered in 2 weeks. So from the time of the quotation to the time of the sole sourcing and the award to delivery, 2 weeks. And the man gets paid almost $1.9 million. A company that operates in 1,600 square feet. Let me explain that to you. It's a building 40 by 40. 40 times 40 is 1,600. That's what we're talking about. It's like a house, 40 by 40. You go to New GPC and you will see a World Health Organization, a Pan American Health Organization certified bond with thousands of square footage, cold storage, modern equipment. They were not part or even invited to bid to show that they have the competence. And then they set it up and they arrange it to ensure that a favored company get it. And then listen to Minister Lawrence's excuse. It's because we got the PNC chairmanship contest going on. Somebody is trying to muddy our waters. Honorable Minister, I'm not a member of the PNC. Neither am I part of your contest for chairmanship. I'm interested in accountability. Don't try to switch this and put this upon PNC chairmanship elections. This is about accountability for taxpayers' money. And when you come to the parliament this afternoon, I hope that you have your statement, because we'll be listening. And then we'll be bringing out the other documents that we have in our bag. Because you see, this government, I said it in my budget debate speech, shortly after I get prevented from asking questions in the parliament last year. This is how you get information from the government. You gotta leak something. Then they deny it. Then you gotta come and bring evidence. Then they come and do some damage control. And then when you expose it, then they start blaming everybody else except themselves. Well, I'm hearing about how the documents that is available to us are drafts, and somebody mischievously lifted it from the ministry computer system, and all the fancy explanation. All right, let me say they were drafts, and you didn't act on them. At least it shows your intention. I am not believing that they are drafts. I believe you acted on them. You invite a man to send quotations on the 16th. You write the tender board on the 19th for waiver. You offered him a contract on the 20th of June. Then on the 29th of June, you engage in restrictive tendering for the same items that you offered by way of a sole sourcing. And you offer the same person a contract. We look like somebody's having a call even before we are ready. Yes, you offer the same company a contract for $100,000 more than the sole source sum. The people of Guyana want to know the truth. You are the ones who said you have clean hands. Pre-2015, you were telling the whole country how the PPP was corrupt, and it is because of corruption we have to get them out. Well, this is not the only one. If Madam Gail Teixeira was here, she would have been telling you this is scam number 60 or 61. They have been chalking it up. Their misdeeds, what is being done in secret, is coming to light. What is worse? This man hired that Singh. And we would have seen that because the accountant that he employed in Guyana has written to the deeds registry indicating that the man hasn't done any business in Guyana and he's submitting a nil return. We saw a copy of that letter Sunday in the Kaichor newspaper. So he didn't submit NIS compliance. He did not submit GRA compliance. So he is not anyway eligible to be considered because he's not compliant. He was still yet given the contract. And then you're saying one whole front page story, everything above board. What is above board? What is above board? You are trying to sell to the people of Guyana that everything is above board. Now, when you say everything is above board, and you're saying that no laws were broken, answer the question, was this a corrupt transaction? Was it or was it not a corrupt transaction? Was it not contract fixing? I'm trying to find this letter that the Siberan accounting firm sent so I can read it for you. But our time is gone. It's already after 1 o'clock. And I believe we will open the phone lines now to start taking in your calls and your comments and your reaction to this, what we would want to call a blatant, corrupt transaction. Blatant, corrupt transaction. So listen to the letter from Siberan, the accountants, to the registrar, Deeds Registry, dated August 2nd, 2016. Dear Sir, Madam, HDM Labs Incorporated, we have been retained by the directors of HDM Labs, Guyana, to prepare and audit its financial statements for the year ending December 31st, 2012, 2013, 2014, and 2015. the company was incorporated on April 10th, 2012, and had no trading activity to date. No trading activity to date. This information was provided and confirmed by the directors of the company. No trading activity. So you couldn't provide a compliance for GRA and for NIS. But still, a man got a contract for 360 something million Guyana dollars. Well, it's time for us to open the phone lines and to hear from you, and let us talk about the corruption that is taking place in Guyana today. So let's see if we could get this first caller. But looks like we don't have that caller ready. So I hope we can get the phone lines going. There's an incoming call. Good afternoon and welcome to Matters of Public Importance.
Good afternoon, Mr.
Good afternoon.
So I hear you talking about the drugs there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I went to the Georgetown Public Hospital and they gave me a prescription. The doctor gave me a prescription. Well, normally every 2 months I see. And when I collect these drugs, the girl gave me the drugs at the pharmacy. Tell me if I use the drug within 2 weeks, I must throw away the rest.
They're going to expire.
Well, that's what I want to know. If they know that the drugs are expired, why are they issuing it?
And the girl is just trying to save your health. Because if you got these drugs, is to last you for 2 months.
Yes.
And if you don't finish it within 2 weeks, you got to throw it away because she know the expiry date is soon. And that is dangerous for your health. And this is something the Food and Drugs Administration in Guyana have to look into, because we cannot be giving out drugs to patients with a short shelf life. It's dangerous. You're done procuring the drugs through corruption. And even when you get it, it got a short shelf life. This is terrible.
And that's what I want to know. If they know they have a short shelf life, why did this government admitting it?
Well, you know, the things about this government, they don't do anything wrong. They don't admit any wrongdoing. But it is good that the girl at the Georgetown Hospital, the pharmacist, was conscientious enough to tell you 2 weeks and throw away.
Okay.
Because you're in trouble. So thank God she saved your life. You should be happy about that. Okay. But this government has no right whatsoever to be having in stock drugs with such a short shelf life. It's dangerous to the health of the people. It's almost like if it is expired.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. What a terrible situation to be faced with, picking up drugs from the government pharmacy, only to be told in 2 weeks' time, if you don't use it, throw it away. Shelf life, it's short. We have another incoming call. Good afternoon and welcome to Matters of Public Importance.
Yeah, you represent the most corrupt party, and you're a religious man. Most corrupt party you represent.
We're talking about the corruption in the procurement of drugs by the current APNU AFC administration. Do you have a contribution to make? Is it right for them to sold? Oh, he's gone. He has hanged up himself. You see, this is the nature of people. Whenever the truth comes out, they have to get their people who hide behind a phone line to abuse you rather than discussing the issue. He should be saying whether it's good or it's bad. Or he should be saying what action should be taken, but rather chooses to hide behind a phone line to be abusive. A very good afternoon. Welcome to Matters of Public Importance.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This transaction, starting from the PS and the chief medical officer, I don't know the other girl's shares, but these people cannot evaluate. These are executive officers and approving this document. How could you be the approver and the evaluator at the same time? That brings the whole transaction, not
The person who is ordering is the person who is evaluating and is the person who is paying.
Despite I'm a head of the department, is the PS ordering the drugs. She cannot evaluate. I think that is contradicting the Procurement and Tender Administration Act, and therefore it is totally wrong. But I want to get why every day the Ministry of Health got 20 to 30 billion Guyana dollars budget got to get emergency drugs. If it shows quite clear that they're doing this deliberately to get money for this regional election and the 2020 election. And these people are involved. I think this is a police matter, and these people should look and say whether they did the evaluation. But these people don't want to get fired, so they will say anything to the government because they're looking for gratuity and pension. They won't want to come up, but the transaction is really bad. It also has gone against the Company Act. You know, not only will you say the GRA and the other one, the NIS, but the Company Act also, 2 years they didn't provide any report. So they were actually should have been
struck off register.
Yeah, after registered the company, so the company is not a valid company. So how could not have valid company? Don't make the whole transaction again. So this whole thing is an illegal transaction, giving somebody who's a financier to the AFC or the TNC or whoever, but to the present government, the coalition government, giving them money, why must he spend during the election campaign? Something of the sort, but the little child could tell you this, so it's totally wrong. I don't know if you give me a little more time. I want to talk another issue, please.
Go ahead, sir, quickly.
So that's finished though. Now I want to talk about repatriation. I haven't heard the PPP said a single word to this date. Whilst the PNC, the president has set up this commission, they knock out the Amerindian people out of the land commission, and now they got the African. Now, I've heard on a Sunday program with Janetta Adams and...
You're talking about reparation?
Yeah, reparation.
Reparation, not repatriation, reparation.
Reparation.
Well...
No, let me finish, please. And I heard the Vice Admiral, Mr. Best, said he made a presentation to the Land Committee that Africans are entitled to 18% of the land mass of this country. Now, I spoke this thing to Mr. Nadir on his program, I think, when he had it Sunday, but it passed over like lightning. This is the most important issue, land for people. Now, I want to tell them about the history. Rodney, in his book, said that Africans, and I'm not being racial, please, Africans believe that the long servitude and the association with the land, they entitled to the Caribbean, including Guyana, where Indians and other people were sojourns. They had to be repatriated back to India after 5 years. But during that time, when they were making this representative for this land issue and talking about it, Indians were born and indigenous to Guyana, and the contribution that they made. Now, let me go back further. The history books say that Indians came as indentured slaves, and they were bound here on a particular estate, a particular country. Africans didn't come to no country. You could buy them anywhere, send them anyway. So they are not entitled to 1 inch of land.
We can make that argumentation.
No. I got this in writing from a book, and it's written by the white man, the same British people. I'm telling you, they got to fight for that land, but they can't say ancestral lands.
All Guyanese.
I'm bringing this to ancestral lands because
all Guyanese are entitled
to land, but
to
not
land in
about
Guyana. All Guyanese.
Hello, they're talking about since Amerindians got 13.1%, they want 18%. Plus, since I was found in the maritime zone, they're now asking for 12% interest. So when you done Guyana, going to be a fragmented thing because I am trying to get also this. I've been asking over and over this agreement with Jack Campbell, that he should have got 48.1 or 48.6% of the land that they made agreement with Bonham that the Amerindians should get. Why should one race, at that time in 1838 when Indians and Africans emancipation had started, there were only 4.4% of Amerindians today. What you going to give the Douglas? It's 20%.
Well, I know you've been going for a while, and I want to give
but
I want to give other callers a
I'm going
chance.
to cut myself here now, but I have not heard the PPP said anything.
Well, just to let you know, while we were in government...
I can come off now, you can
yes,
stop, right?
All right, good, thanks. While we were in government, we appointed Mr. Eric Phillips as the head of the Guyana Reparations Committee to engage with the other CARICOM countries on the subject of reparation. So it is not true that the PPPC has not engaged this subject. It is a subject that needs to be discussed wide and broad. But I can tell you our position is that all Guyanese must be treated with respect, dignity, must be given equal access and equal opportunity. The case of the Amerindians is a special case that we inherited. So let me take this other caller. Good afternoon. Welcome to Matters of Public Importance.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I want to know when this government is bringing $300 million intro.
Could you raise your voice a little bit more so I can hear you?
Yeah, when this government bringing $300 million intro, it's storing these drugs in pubs and bottom house. What the drugs, the lifespan of the drugs, like they're dying and die before its time.
Well,
And they have to stop supply that to the citizens of this country. They're killing out the citizens faster.
we would expect that the technical and professional officers in the government service would ensure that the health of the nation is protected, whether it is the chief medical officer, whether it's the food and drug administrators, the inspectors. We would expect that the technical and professional officers do their job. What we are concerned about is the political direction and political instruction that has been given to some of these people. Good afternoon and welcome to Matters of Public Importance.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Joe.
Good afternoon.
This corruption with these drugs and so on. It leads me to another point. That is why the president don't want to hold press conferences, because you have to answer questions on all these things that are going on, and you're running and hiding from it. So we need to look into that. It's a reason, because it's a wild, wild west in this government. Everybody's on the brooms doing their own thing, everybody doing their own thing. And the president, high and dry, and he ain't sent to the public. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Well, I would like to remind Guyanese, you could recall those nice big banners that were strung across the streets. Time for accountability, vote APNU plus AFC. They said they will be accountable. They receive the signing bonus and they hide it. They raise their own salaries, they hid it. Everything that they're doing, they're hiding it. It is only when they rent a house in Sussex Street for $12.5 million a month. And they hid it. It is only when we go after it and we dig and we dig and we dig and we dig. That's how the people get information. They are not accountable. And every Guyanese must make their own conclusion. Are we having a government that is accountable? Are we having a government that we can trust? We have a president who's hiding from the media. The prime minister have not held a press conference in 3 years. You can only get to talk to the president when he's rushing, going to his car, and the security is hustling you away. And even when he answers a question, is a line. For example, the outgoing chairman of the National Two-Shows Council, in his address said, "You broke your promises to us." The president got up to speak after. He didn't address the issue. He stayed with his script. Good afternoon and welcome to Matters of Public Importance.
Yeah, Mr. Jill, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You know, these drugs and these things that they're talking about, the government bringing in for people. This government had a set of people walking around sharing drugs to people for drink. I know it was some malaria or
filaria.
And a doctor stepped up on the television and said these drugs that they're sharing is for dogs and pigs.
Well, I didn't know about that.
Yes, right on the television, a doctor stood up and said this drug that they were sharing is not for human consumption, it was dogs and pigs. Yes, Mr. Edgel, that's it.
All right, sir.
So I wouldn't buy drugs I wouldn't go to the hospital and buy drugs because I'm scared for my life.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry that we have citizens who are losing confidence in the public health service that has been offered by this APNU AFC administration. That's where the ordinary man, the working class person, depends upon that service. In the difficult moments when he is struggling with ill health, he needs the services. Not everybody can pay the high-profile prices and go to Ireland and have medical attention like the government ministers and functionaries are enjoying. Some of us have to stay right here. Good afternoon and welcome to Matters of Public Importance.
Good afternoon, Comrade Edgel, and how are you?
Very well, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, I'm a senior citizen and I'm attached to the Georgetown Public Hospital for the past decade, 15 to 16 years. Now I'm encountering, I'm asthmatic. I'm not getting my medication, and this is 3 months. I'm telling you, I stopped going to the clinic.
All right.
Stop immediately because it's wasting transportation time and my little pension is finishing. They don't have drugs. Thank you.
Where are you living?
I'm living in East Pennington.
All right. I'm sure you're staying on listening to the program. Please call 225-3432. 225-3432. That's the office of the Leader of the Opposition. We will have one of our parliamentarians who shadow the health sector. We have a number of doctors who will be able to review your case and see what assistance we can give to you. It's a sad case that we're buying, $380 million worth of drugs, and people are not going to the hospital because it ain't got, it expire. You gotta go back because it's short. What are we really doing? What are we really doing? How are we running a country like this? I think I probably only have space for one other call before we close. So I will take one other call and then we will wrap up this afternoon's program. Because the issue here is that we want an accountable government. I was making the point that the president is speaking after the chairman of the National Two-Souls Council. The man said, you broke your promises. He didn't address it, but when he's going into his car, the media asked him, did you? And he says, I didn't break any promises. But here it is, the head of a constituency, 10% of Guyana, is saying you broke your promises. Address it on the floor. But he hid. Final call. Good afternoon and welcome to Matters of Public Importance.
Good afternoon, Mr. Edgel.
Good afternoon.
And I just called to tell you must continue your good programs, right?
Thank you very much, sir.
Continue the fight for the people.
Thank you, sir. Well, certainly someone is admiring our contribution, and we thank you for all those who give us moral support, who speak words of encouragement, and who from time to time take time out to recognize the contribution that we are making to improve the lives of all Guyanese and to make this country better. You have the assurances, you can have the confidence that we in the People's Progressive Party, Civic, the parliamentary opposition, we're on watch for this nation. We will continue to work in your interests. We will continue to do everything that is necessary to ensure you get value for money, that you get the benefits that you deserve, and to ensure that the taxpayer's purse is protected. We have to go. It's always an issue with time because we could never have enough time to discuss these all-important subjects. But I encourage you to tune in this afternoon to the live stream at the National Assembly. We do hear sometimes that when our speakers are up, that the live stream have problems. And follow the news. This afternoon is Opposition Day, Private Members Day. We'll be debating the bill on the reinstituting of the Ministry of Labor, and then we have an adjournment motion to deal with hinterland roads. There are a number of questions that we submitted that were refused by the Speaker, and there are a number of other matters that we'll be making our point. We continue to thank you for your patience. We thank you for your support, your kind words that you have offered. And before I say goodbye, I would like to remind you that I only deputized this afternoon for Madam Gail Teixeira, who is the Parliamentary Opposition's Chief Whip, who was unable to be here. Please accept her greetings. Join us next week, same time, same station, for another program of matters of public importance. God bless you and have a good afternoon.